Hello everybody and welcome to parksbros. It's Drew here, and I've got some exciting news out of Knott's Berry Farm today, as we can confirm the train is on the track and theming is being added every single day. Unfortunately, I have not actually been to the park in quite a while, but this news was just too exciting not to post a video about. In my last update, we talked about how things were looking really positive for this project after almost 4 full years of stagnation, which, to be honest, is really kind of ridiculous, especially knowing now that we're getting practically what was promised 4 years ago. The same exact trains that were shown in the concept video and art, as well as the exact theming elements that have now been placed in the station. It's kind of wild to think that they're actually sticking to all of this concept after such a long period of time. Now, what does that mean for us? Well, we're going to be experiencing some Kumbak trains, which seem to be 12 rows of 2, and they have comfort collars. I know, so many people have dreaded this as a possibility for this ride ever since it was announced, and considering they're sticking with Kumbak trains, we're getting their over-the-shoulder restraints, which have a lap bar, extended handlebars, and of course a collar that connects from above your head down to the waist. I believe these are the same restraints that were found on T3 at Kentucky Kingdom before that ride ended up closing, and I unfortunately never heard a single positive thing about them. Well, outside of the fact that you didn't bang your head on the restraint, but you couldn't feel your thighs by the end of the ride. Something that has changed a tiny bit is the actual color that has been shown on the trains. It looks to be an olive green seat padding with red handles and collars, which to me seems a little odd considering how brightly colored the track is, at least on the launch and with the supports, and that red is really bright in comparison to the track on the loop and the spikes. So it's kind of interesting to see how they kind of flip-flopped the same type of color palette, and I'm interested to see if any extra theming might end up making that work a little better. Now, I will leave the post to r/Knott's Berry Farm down in the description below so you can actually get a look at these photos while I'm talking about them, as they also show off another new piece of construction that they've done, and that is a wooden fence along the entirety of the launch track, so you can no longer look at the supports of the launch, which this makes everything look really clean in that area, and it also can keep some secrets from those of us who decide to go up into the balloon race queue to look down at all of the construction. In addition to that, there are some taller wooden posts that look like they could potentially be supporting for something taller, closer to the catwalks of the launch, so maybe we'll end up seeing more of a barrier there, or even potentially signs of a tunnel, or maybe just an accent wall on the launch. I think that'd actually be a really cool idea. On MonteZOOma's side, you could have it themed like the temple walls. On the Camp Snoopy side, you could just have this really nice Peanuts mural. And then on top of that, it blocks out some of that excess noise that would be coming from guests while they're screaming on this high-thrill roller coaster. That, and it's not nearly as expensive as a full tunnel would be. Other news around the ride includes the fact that the air gates are officially on the right-hand side of the station now, and that includes the entry being from that side. So it does seem like Knott's is trying their best to really isolate this ride from Camp Snoopy, which is probably a better idea than what it's kind of been through during its regular life cycle. And while it still technically does go over one of the Camp Snoopy rides, it being more properly separated is a better idea for just the theming and the cohesion of that entire area of the park. So having that entry walkway and stairway be on the Fiesta Village side of things is definitely an improvement. But with all of this going on, it really makes me think that we could potentially start to see testing within the next month or two. Considering the full train is already on the track after just a couple weeks of testing the winches from the top of the spikes, as well as some clearance vehicles that were seen under tarps, this is fantastic signs that this ride could definitely be opening in summer. But before I leave you, I do have some concerns, especially when it comes to the trains. I have not experienced a Kumbak restraint personally personally, so I can't really speak on that. But I'm not the biggest fan of this having any over-the-shoulder restraint, but that is because we were able to live with the ridiculously tiny restraint on this ride for so long. But my main concern with this ride going forward is going to be the capacity. Now that we know that this train is only going to be 12 rows deep, it's only 24 riders per train. If you're curious, the original had 28 seats, so you're probably thinking it's not too much of a downgrade, which would be correct if it didn't have the randomized launch feature. So on some cycles, you might be starting backwards, then going forwards, then backwards again, and then forwards all the way through before coming back to the station, or some combination of those directions. And what that will most realistically mean is a doubled ride length, which is fantastic for actually enjoying the ride, but of course, the drawback is you will be waiting a lot longer, especially after multiple cycles. And that 4 riders a cycle that they're missing quickly becomes multiple train worths of people not being sent through the ride per hour. So that's just one of many changes with this ride we're going to have to look out for, and it's already practically becoming a brand new ride, so it'll have an extended wait time anyway, but considering the changes with operations, it'll just add on to that a little bit more. And hopefully they don't get any ideas of adding lockers to this attraction, because it will only ever run on one train. So keeping the cubby idea is the best way forward, at least I think. I mean, heck, they've kept it that way on Accelerator and it really hasn't made any changes. With all that said though, I'm actually pretty heartbroken that I haven't been back to the park in the last couple of weeks, because all of this amazing progress has happened in that time frame. But I can't wait to be getting some peeks in person soon, and I hope you're willing to join me. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. I really do appreciate you all watching so much. And of course, until next time, we'll see you on the next ride.